I'd been really involved in ministry in my local church and through my years of studying at uni. And so in some ways I felt like I had had a lot of practice in ministry. Perhaps I didn't need to do an apprenticeship. Maybe I could just go straight to Bible college or on to further ministry. But I had a few people challenge me in that, in making me realise that those years of learning practical, full-time ministry skills would be really useful. And enough people challenged me on that I saw that they were right. There were things that I hadn't been involved in that would be really helpful to be involved in a full-time capacity. So that's why I decided to do the apprenticeship.
I really wanted to stay in my workplace, in my secular job, and to be a Christian amongst my colleagues and really share the gospel with them. And that's something I still do want to do as well. But the person that's training me said to me, that's a really good thing to do, but what if you could be someone that gets trained up to teach others or to equip others to do that? And so it was just simple maths. It's either one of me or it could be 10 others doing that instead. So that was a big factor for me choosing.
Because I'm married, my wife and I decided this together. It has a very big impact on us as a family, so we did come to the decision together. Once I understood, and once we both understood what MTS offers and what I was going to gain specifically from this training experience, it was a bit of a no-brainer. So once we understood it, lots of people spoke to us about it, and I just jumped in.
Something that helped me with making my final decision was I chatted to a lot of people. I actually sat down with 2 women who have watched me in ministry over the last couple of years, and after chatting to another trainer, when I sat down with them, I just asked them honestly whether or not they thought it was a wise decision and a good decision, and I just I took their advice and then I jumped in.
Well, it was a long process, but I think what sealed the deal for me was knowing that there's nothing to lose. Even after 2 years, if I realized I'm really not cut up for full-time ministry, it's still not a failure, because I would still have grown so much in my knowledge and love of God, and they would have trained a great gospel partner.
I think the last standing obstacle for me was finances. I did it with my husband, so it was 2 huge financial considerations, but talking to some godly people at church, they just reminded us that God's in control, He's the owner of all things, so it's just a matter of trusting in God with that.
Yeah, the final straw for me when it came to deciding to do an apprenticeship was Jesus' words that the harvest is plentiful and the workers are few. It really struck me as devastating that there's not enough people doing harvest work. And so as I weighed up, my current work and study and all the options, I just thought, this is something I want to equip myself to do, because a lot of the time I just felt out of my depth when talking to non-Christian family or friends or colleagues. And so I wanted to do everything I could to equip myself for gospel ministry, and I saw MTS as a great way to do that.
What pushed me over the line to do an MTS apprenticeship was the fact that I couldn't say no. After a number of conversations, all the reasons and excuses I had really fell away in the face of 2 years being trained under someone to share the gospel. That seemed like a great way to spend 2 years, and all my excuses were just really poor excuses, and I'm so thankful I did an apprenticeship.